Alright, guys. It is Tuesday, June 8th, 2021 at 5:15 p.m. Alright, guys. So let's start with a daily verse from dailyverses.net. It says, I have chosen the way of faithfulness. I have set my heart on your laws. Psalm 119-30. Let's take a look a little bit into the faith. It says, therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. Mark 11:24. Next verse, I pray that out of this glorious riches he may strengthen you with power through his Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you're being rooted and established and loved. Ephesians 3:16 through 17. Alright, just wanted to read a couple of Bible verses before I start my video. It kind of brings up, God's energy and God's love, and it helps, bring people together. So that's something I wanted to just start the video with. Alright, let's start. Major internet outage impacts websites and apps around the world. Here's why a slate of websites and apps went down this morning. It says countless websites and apps around the world went down Tuesday after Fastly, a major content delivery network, reported a widespread failure. The issue has been resolved after an hour, according to Fastly. The outage affected dozens of countries across the Americas, Europe, Asia, and South Africa. Sites including Amazon, Target, government UK were down during the outage. Let's take a look at another article. Says, I don't know, that's the energy one. This is here. The Amazon was down. It says global internet outage temporarily knocks down Amazon, Reddit, major news websites offline. This story was uploaded at 10:28 a.m. It wasn't just your internet. A global outage Tuesday morning brought down major websites like Amazon, Target, CNN, Reddit, Twitch, and has a host of internet other most popular sites and platforms. The UK government homepage was also went down, which tracks internet outages, showed a spike in reports of outages of websites using San Francisco-based cloud computing services powered Fastly, which repeatedly reported a widespread failure early on Tuesday. Excuse me. So there was a large internet outage. So if you ever think, can they knock down the whole internet? Well, yes, they can. You just have to knock down where they have the cloud, or where they push the majority of these websites out of. So one of them is this company Fastly. So it is very critical to think Fastly right there. Very critical to think. Very important to think about. If the internet's down, what else could be down? Last night when I was gonna make a video, the internet was down for me. It was the morning hours. I usually make my videos in the morning hours when I feel like it, but it it could mean disaster for a lot of people. For example, if somebody's trying to use Google Maps and they're trying to get somewhere and the internet's down, that could affect a lot of people. So it's important when thinking of disaster situations and survival situations, to have in mind that the internet and the electric grid. Let's take a look at this one. The electric grid can go down. It says Energy Secretary says adversaries have capability of shutting down U.S. power grid. The Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm on Sunday warned in stark terms that the U.S. power grid is vulnerable to attacks. Asked by CNN's Jake Tapper on State of the Union whether the nation's adversaries have a capability of shutting it down, Granholm said, yeah, they do. There are thousands of attacks on all aspects of the energy sector and the private sector generally, she said, adding, it's happening all the time. This is why the private sector and the public sector have to work together. The Secretary's warning comes amid a rise in ransomware attacks in America's public and private sectors in the recent weeks, creating a sense of urgency in the Biden administration on how to confront cyber vulnerabilities. The issue will take an outsized role during President Joe Biden's first foreign trip this week, during which he is set to talk with European leaders and meet with Russia President Vladimir Putin in Geneva, Switzerland. All right, so the power grid is vulnerable, is what she's saying, and I 100% agree with all these hackers being around. So who knows how many attacks they probably outskirt or try to circumvent, and they don't really tell the public about. But if there's attacks on the gas, there's probably attacks on the power grid. Now we saw that the internet went down. So pretty much we're standing on shaky ground when it comes to and emergency situations and being prepped and being prepared for what possibly could come in the next few months. Pretty much going through the pandemic kind of gets you prepared in the sense mentally of what's next. If you're prepared for the pandemic and you have enough food and you have things stocked, what's next? What could possibly go wrong next? But that's the important part. We have God. God is the answer to everything because God is the one who sustains us through all these hard times. Um, you would not fall if you have God with you. God protects and watches over you. If it wasn't for God, you wouldn't even be breathing because God is the creator of all the particles and all the cells in your body and everything around you. So if you have God, you're basically safe. Let's see the next story. Russia threatens to leave International Space Station program over UN sanctions, reports says Russia's space chief is threatening to leave the International Space Station ISS program in 2025 unless the United States lifts sanctions against the Russian space sector. If the sanctions remain and are not lifted in the near future, the issue of Russia's withdrawal from the ISS will be the responsibility of the American partners. Roscos Director General Dmitry Rogozin said during a Russian parliament hearing on Monday, June 7th. Either we work together, in which case the sanctions are lifted immediately, or we will not work together and we will deploy our own station, Rogozin added. Russia is about to launch a new docking module to the ISS this summer that could serve as a hub of an independent complex. So Russia is saying they're going to leave the International Space Station and create their own station if sanctions aren't lifted. And first thing I think of is, well, the International Space Station is pretty rickety. It's pretty much put together with pieces from like the 60s and 70s, and it is not that, great structurally. It has been, I have covered in videos before where there have been attacks in the space station where there's either pinholes being put in the station where oxygen leaks or just holes happen naturally. I don't know if it's an attack from either the Russians or other members that stay in the station, or if it's from space, either a meteorite, a tiny meteorite, or some kind of debris hitting the station, causing little pinholes that cause oxygen leaks. But it is important to think, are the Russians going to create their own station anyway? I know China is probably creating its own station, so who knows where this is going to go with the United States deciding whether or not it's going to allow Russia to stay or leave. Anyways, next, hundreds arrested in massive global crime sting using messaging app. More than 800 suspected criminals have been arrested worldwide after being tricked into using an FBI-run encrypted messaging app, officials say. The operation, jointly conceived by Australia and the FBI, saw devices with the Anam app secretly distributed among criminals, allowing police to monitor their chats about drug smuggling, money laundering, and even murder plots. Officials called it a watershed moment. Targets included drug gangs and people with links to the mafia. Drugs, weapons, luxury vehicles, and cash were also seized in the operation, which was conducted across more than a dozen countries. This included 8 tons of cocaine, 250 guns, and more than 48 million or 34 million euros in various worldwide currencies and cryptocurrencies. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison said the operation had struck a heavy blow against organized crime around the world. So they're getting all these criminals down by using messaging apps as a sting operation. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Hit like, subscribe for more news. Please stay aware of the news around you, whether it's about the internet being down, whether it's about power grids possibly being down. And now that we're in hurricane season, please make sure that you're prepared and you have enough food and water and candles and enough supplies for your pets and your family members, because we are starting hurricane season on June 1st. I wasn't making videos at the time to cover it, but I am now, so please be prepared for that. So God bless you guys, and stay aware of each other, watch over each other, please pray for each other, because we need it out here. Alright guys, God bless you guys, see you guys next time.